It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting of the July 9th, 2026 school board meeting to order and ask you to stand. Our invocation will be given by Mrs. Drake, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mrs. Clement.
Please bow your heads. Father, we just come to you this morning thanking you for the air in our lungs that we breathe today, Lord. We thank you for the health to be here. We thank you that our bodies are able to serve you, Lord. We thank you for the successes of our school district recently, for the grades that you've allowed us to receive, Lord. And Lord, I thank you for what it really means, and that is that our students are prepared to further their educations, Lord, and that it's all about them and what those tests mean to them, Lord, that they're learning the skills they need to be successful in life, Father. We thank you for the opportunity to serve the students in this county. Lord, we ask you to be here with us today. We ask you to give us wisdom and discernment. We ask you, Father, to make all the right decisions, and that everything that we say and do today will be pleasing to you. In Jesus' precious holy name, we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. Item 1.3, notice of meeting guidelines. I'm going to suspend not go over those because I believe everybody here is familiar with them. I do want to announce, though, for those of you who are visiting our meeting today, just to let you know, the 1 o'clock budget meeting that was scheduled for today has been canceled because of a meeting that we have with the state. So we'll move on. I'm sorry?
Has it actually been postponed?
Well, but we do have another one scheduled later. I can't tell you when it is off the top of my head. But it will be advertised, has been advertised. So we'll move on to section 2 of our agenda, item 2.1, approve the minutes of the Blaze County School Board meeting June 25th, 2026 at 9 a.m.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Pierce and second by Ms. Clement. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Item number 2.2, approve the minutes of the Glades County School Board Budget Workshop of June 25th, 2026 at 1 p.m.
Motion approved.
Motion by Ms. Clement,
Second.
second by Mr. Lucky. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, section 3, item 3.1, update on new elementary school renovations. So we'll recognize Mr. Gressel for that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The renovations are going along very well. We've done several things to the buildings since our last meeting. They have redone the asphalt on the parking lot and striped it. They did, I guess over the last 2 days, I guess. We now have all the flooring in, most of the furniture's in. They're finishing the furniture today. The last thing they had to do, they put some shelving in because the floors, we didn't have all tile down when the furniture people came last time. So they're finishing the shelving on the inside. We put brand new windows in this last week, so they look fantastic, by the way. They're putting ceiling tiles in as we speak right now. They're almost done with that. They leave some holes because they're putting insulation above the ceiling tiles so that the sound doesn't go from room to room. We're going to do some mowing in the front of the school. Hopefully today, talk to Mr. Thomas about that. They're getting stuff out of the way for that. Building 8000 is coming along as well. All the new lighting is in the gymnasium area, or whatever you call that, multi-purpose room. And it looks fantastic. They got the air conditioning going in building 9,000. They flipped the switch for air conditioning on 8,000 yesterday, which is the Ritchie building. And they had a little technical problem, so they're back working on that again today. We're doing concrete work next week. One of the concrete areas that we're doing is going to be to finish the concrete walk that goes all the way from the new renovated buildings all the way to the back door of the district office. There'll be canopies that'll be put in as well, but they're about 6 weeks out. But by the time we're done, it'll be a covered walkway that'll go from what may be the new district offices, I don't know it kind of sounds that way, to the old district office. Let's see, what else? Building 7,000, which is our new storage maintenance shed, it is completed. What we're planning on doing is putting plywood, 5x8 sheets of plywood around the inside of the building, just for stability. The building's very stable, but just so that maintenance guys don't accidentally, drive into the side of it or knock into the metal part of it. So that'll happen next week. The sheets of plywood should come in either today or tomorrow. You can see.
Temporary, they'll be taken off when it's through, or is it
Oh no, we'll leave that in there. That'll just help make the building even more stable.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Bradley?
I'm just
Yes.
curious about, I'm sorry,
what by what?
about moving the district office.
Oh, well, that's something that maybe Dr. Barfield will talk to you about. The offices are so nice over there, I think the consideration is moving a lot of our main office staff, including the superintendent, which she decided upon about a week ago. Yeah, over to there, so. But we'll have people here as well, we'll have people in both buildings, yeah. But like I said, she can talk to you about that, that's kind of been her plan. The original plan was a little different, but it's okay.
We kind of looked at it every different way and mapped out every different,
Oh, yeah, we have done that.
we've changed it 40, 50 times, but I'll talk about it
Well, there's
tomorrow.
no we,
Yeah.
you changed it.
She has a habit of doing that when
It's
she took
okay.
over as principal from
Oh, my
Montgomery
gosh.
Middle High School. That office that had been good enough for me
Yeah,
for 14 years, she moved right quick.
that's right. You got to be flexible,
Yeah.
that's okay. Improvise it out.
Consider looking at something I wasn't told.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is about the school zone, so we talked about it at the last meeting,
Yeah.
and Mr. Wiseman was gonna
Yeah.
give you.
And all that will be up before school starts. They're supposed to be striping the crosswalk, today or tomorrow. The signage is coming in, actually some of the signage is coming in. They're waiting to get all the signage in so they can install it all at the same time. But I hope it's definitely gonna be in before school starts.
Just a comment, I know you had described the storage facility and
Yeah.
told us the dimensions, but when I looked at it, I went, oh my gosh, that really is big.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
nice.
yeah, it'll replace what we had, it might be a little bit more than we had at the transportation department before. Remember, we had a storage building, but we also had another covered area where the maintenance guys kept their lawnmowers and stuff like that. This building will take care of all that, so that all that stuff isn't sitting on the rim. And now it's gonna open up those bays that are in the transportation building, so they can be used the way they're supposed to. Like, they're supposed to be for washing buses and gassing and things, diesel buses up and stuff like that, so.
Madam Chair, I do have a
Yes.
question.
Sure.
I was in the bus barn building the other day, and the lights were not working correctly, all of that is still under warranty?
Yeah,
Well,
Thomas, are they working?
so that particular task has been handed off to me, and there's this wonderful little device that, much to my consternation, I'm still learning. But we are working on it. It's one remote control. It's the same one for that building over there, so I'm learning how to update and fix the lights.
Is it a light or is it the control that, or is it the user?
It's the user.
This user error.
There's a light management software and a module, and this connects to that, and you have to learn how to tell it. You have to speak light language, and I don't yet. So, but we're getting there.
So is it kind of like why the lights stay on at the high school all night, cause it's just the,
No, that's a different problem.
That's a different problem.
okay, we'll stick on this one for now.
And and I don't know if you wanna speak to that.
The lights in high school?
Yes.
And go up
Come
there,
on up here.
go up.
I didn't mean to just
Doesn't
take you
make-
off of subject of what we're on, but that was just, I was curious, trying to see if that was the same reason.
Yeah, which one we talking about?
Well, the lighting system, what we're gonna do with the AC and the lighting.
Well, so, we're going to upgrade the control systems for the AC at the high school, very soon before school starts to go. It'll give us better control over those, over the AC system, and hopefully help us manage, is it the lighting too?
That's Amoresco, right?
That's Amoresco, and that's gonna give us a lot more control of what's going on there. We need it because, as you guys know, the chillers are on their last leg, we're trying to keep them alive for a while. So, we're having them install that system there over the summer, and, that's coming out of that appropriation.
If you've been in the auditorium and you're freezing cold, like, you would never be, you probably, but if you're, there's, for many years, no one was able to control the
Dampers.
yes. And so now, this is gonna fix all of that.
Yeah, yes.
The existing module, we're not connecting with it, something's not right with it. And so since we wanna upgrade the entire district with Amoresco controls anyways, we're taking advantage of doing that now.
Right. The original that was put in there, what, 8-10 years ago now? It's a special program like Amoresco, but it's not an Amoresco's, it's not their
module.
It's not their module, no. It's a different one. And they're, over the years, we have been able to work with it a little bit, to do some adjustments in some of the classrooms or buildings, like I'm talking about the air conditioning. But, the timers for the lighting, they've been out for a couple of years now. And the timers, they're special timers that, so the lights are on from 6 in the morning until 8 at night or whatever they're gonna be, and then it hits that certain spot and they all go off. Well, those timers, I don't know if they ever work, because when I was in, the couple of years that I was over maintenance, I know that we were looking at replacing those areas right there. Never seen that enough ones to do that, but,
They never worked well.
network. And for the life of me, I don't understand why they just didn't put some switches on the walls either, why everything had to be in a timer. That's why, we were at the elementary, when we built that we had both things, that you could have it on a timer, but also you can push a little switch to turn on your light or turn off your lights if you need to.
It was for energy saving.
It was,
We
yeah.
thought we could control it, but
Yeah.
they overrode it. They believed that he wanted to do it.
Yeah, so hopefully within the next few months, those control systems will be in at the high school, so that'll help alleviate some electrical costs, the skyrocketing electrical costs, I should say, that are happening throughout all our schools, but that'll help at high school for sure.
Ms. Clemens, but also just remember that some lighting being on we want that to continue to stay on. Now, not classroom lights should not be on,
Yeah,
but like the main hallways, that sort of thing, we want to be on. Not
Well, we
all
will
of
have
them,
a-
not all of them, but it doesn't need to be a dark building.
We're security.
Yeah, and there's different thoughts on that too, because you might say you want the lights on for security, but then if you have the lights off, then when the police do go by and they see someone with a flashlight in there, then, so there's two ways of reading it. The safety side of me is gonna say, well, the lights should be off, but there is another side that I can understand, that I want to have a light on there so you can see somebody in there.
Knowing, not criticizing our sheriff's department at all, and they do a good job of going by and circulating the buildings, like, I'm here, or whenever I am here late, I see them. And like, when I leave, I can see into the elementary school, because I see the lights on. But, I mean, I know it, to me, I think it would be more difficult to break in. I mean, obviously, I'm not a seasoned, but I'm just saying,
Really?
that's my evening job. But,
Well, with the lights on, it's more inviting, they can see what's on the other side.
Well, there's a happy medium, so there is.
there needs to be a better medium, let's say that.
Well, and the way the elementary school is, if you walk into the hallways, then the lights come on.
Right.
And that's for safety. I mean, if all the lights are off and all of a sudden somebody drives by and there's a light on, they think, oh, they know somebody's in there.
It's motion activated, right? I thought some of the lights at the high school were motion activated in the
Well,
classrooms.
if they are, it's random.
It seems to me when I was subbing up there, if I was working late and sitting at my desk, the lights would go off and I had to get up and move around.
There are motion sensors in some of the classrooms for that reason. You have to do this because it makes sure.
Right,
But, like in the bigger areas, I'm not sure what we have. But we're gonna get all that brought up to a standard across the district, and that'll give us a lot more control over AC and across the district.
thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you, Mr. Thomas and Mr. Bradford. Did you have anything else, Mr. Bradford?
No, I'm saying, 'cause I'm the next group.
Oh, okay, I haven't looked that far ahead. Yes, we are being asked to approve the first reading of the 2026-2027 Code of Conduct. Mr. Bradford, you're
Sure
up.
thing. I had the principals go over the code of student conduct with me to see if there need to be some changes within it. There are very, very few changes. Most of it was just, if there's some typographical things, or there was some language in there where they call things an FAQ, and I'm not sure what that was, but I was told that's really out of school suspension, so we actually changed it to OSS. We put a lot more, in the areas, we put a lot more parent contact to ensure that when the assistant principals or the principals or deans or whatever are doing are actually doing these ramifications, they call them, that they make sure to make those parent contact calls. There is a little bit of a change to the threat assessment procedures, and that's by the state, and I just added in that they changed a step, so I changed that step in the threat assessment. So if a parent is, isn't sure what the procedures are for threat assessment, they can take a look at that, and they can always give us a call.
I guess I should ask for a motion, because this is an item we're supposed to approve. Motion by Ms. Peters. Second by Ms. Gray. So we've heard Mr. Gressa's presentation. Do you have any questions or discussion? Everybody's good? You did say that you've had the principals and assistant principals go over this.
Absolutely.
You're aware of the changes and everything.
Yeah, and like I said, there were some very minor changes. I know, like, one of the changes that I had them take a look at was like for dress code. They were saying that after the second offense, parent conference, but also there's detention, would be lunch or after school, and then it says student not permitted for 3 days to participate in extracurricular activities. And we decided to take that out because that's not necessarily fair, because, some kids are in extracurricular activities and some kids aren't, and it might be in season or it might be out of season. So we felt that, any kind of consequence, we should make it the same for all students. Little things like that.
And this will come to us later for a final approval.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
The rule about addressing or not addressing students according to their preferred pronouns?
That's already been in there, yeah.
My question was that in there last year?
Yes.
Okay, because that was in the news so much this year, but I didn't know,
Yeah, because,
I saw it, but.
yeah, that was one of the statutes that were included in that last year.
Okay.
Really, there weren't really anything that was included this year in statutes for
All right, are we ready for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to the next item, 5.1, which is a recognition of Dr. Alice E. Barfield for successful completion of the Florida Superintendent Leadership Development Program. And who's doing that?
It's me, I had to have it brought before the board just to notify you that I did complete it. If you want to, or if anyone in the public wants to view my documentation, it is sitting in a big box in the back of my office. And
Congratulations.
thank you, I got a nice little bonus that I'll get yearly until I have to keep up my certification, but which is very nice, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, I mean, it was, I appreciate it, I learned a lot, and, getting to, be in a cohort with other superintendents, it's kind of sad though, because I think there's only like two, Dr. Malay, you might have to help me on this, two or maybe three superintendents that, started when I did, Dr. Malay is actually one of the superintendents that started when I did, are no longer superintendents. I think I'm one of the last, there's only about two of us that are still there. So they're kind of came and went, so don't know why. But anyway, we had a pretty large class of beginning superintendents when I started in 2020. It's crazy. I wanna give you numbers, but I don't have the 100% accurate ones, but I wanna say there's only like under 10 and that were, I'm one of the OG, which is so crazy to me. Also, the money that I get my bonus from, that's the state funded, that's not from the district. So just let you know, the district's not paying me any extra money. So I get it from the state, it's $7,500 bonus.
Well, we're proud of you
Thank
and congratulations
Yes,
on completing that. Now, when we go out to dinner, you can buy us some
Absolutely,
chocolates.
absolutely.
That little bonus, right?
Right,
Anybody else want to comment on that?
I just appreciate the continued education and you bring it home, sharing it with us.
All right, we'll move on to item 5.2. It's the Brian Gretza Show today. He's going to do the presentation of the Office of State Schools Quarterly Report.
Correct, yes. As per state statute, statute's 1001.212, I had it here so I don't memorize that. As a school safety specialist, I'm supposed to update you on the outcome of compliance inspections. And this is the fourth quarter, and there were actually no, well, the percentage of schools with any deficiencies was 0. In fact, this is the fourth quarterly report of the year, and our total number of schools that had a deficiency for the year is 0. So our schools are keeping up with the things that they need to do. They're happy that their fire drills are completed, their active assailant drills are completed, that they're doing their safety meetings, that they're having their threat assessment meetings monthly. They've done a great job this year. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work on especially the assistant principals. The principals have a main job of that too, but really it's most of that goes on the assistant principals. A lot of extra stuff that the state has put on them, and I can understand why they've done that, because safety is the number one concern that we have. But I want to just say, hey, they've done a fantastic job this year. Thank you.
And we appreciate your overseeing them in this program. Thank you for your report to us. Yes, Ms.
No,
French?
Jim. And I remember in years past when that was not the case, that we got a perfect score. And I think you really jumped on that and made that a priority for yourself. And it definitely shows, and I appreciate it, as we all do. So thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the board? All right, we will move on to item 6.1, public comment on agenda items. And we have none. We have an action agenda. I see we have no consent agenda today, all action, so we'll take them one by one. The first one, 7.1, is to approve the changes in human resources, hires, resignations, transfers, and/or supplements. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Ms. Spears. Second by Ms. Clement. Questions, comments, discussion?
Yes. When I look at that form and then I see that a teacher is being paid by a grant, was that under the summer school column? I'm still having a little challenge when I see those things. I'm trying to make sure that I understand.
I think that was summer planning. That was,
Oh, sure, yeah, that was a special grant, John Malay, Director of HR. There's a special grant that the district receives, and that's oversaw by Tara with federal programs, and it's written just for PD, so they were to receive, I believe, a $200 stipend for days that they did. And when the money's gone, it's gone. So she had people sign up for things they needed and required by this grant, so we had a lot of participants, so that will not be yearly unless she renews and gets that money, so it's one time only. And it was kind of small, the heading of it. Apologize for that if it didn't stand out clear enough, but that's what that is.
Thank you, sir.
any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7.2, to approval to set tentative and final public hearing dates for trim. And Dr. Barfield, you're the one on there, do you have any comments?
So I know at the, I know Mrs. Murray, if she may want to address this, because the dates have kind of gone back and forth. You want to say something?
So it's not tentative for one and final for the other. Both dates are tentative until we get our RLE millage information from the state. We've already received some of it, some of the process or the property appraisers already did their part. We're waiting on DOE to go ahead and give us that. They have until July the 19th to do that. And as soon as we do that, we can set these dates permanently and kick off the ad and put it in so that your next meeting, you'll approve the ad to be put into the big lake news. And then there'll be final budget hearings. But for us to publicize it and put it on our website, at least you all need to approve both of them are tentative. Tentative for the one and tentative for the final one.
Okay, so just so that it's public, those dates that we're discussing, the tentative public hearing is Monday, August 3rd at 5:01 p.m. And then the final public hearing, which is also tentative at this point,
Correct.
is set for September 8th at 5:01 p.m.
Correct.
Any other questions?
Let's say tentative in your motion, make them both tentative.
It does say approval to set tentative.
Yeah, one of them says tentative and then the other one says final, right? So they should be, both of them, if you just say tentative for public hearing, this and that, it's fine.
So we want to restate the motion to make both of them tentative. Would you be able to do that for us, please, Ms. Clement?
Madam Chairman, I move to approve to set tentative public hearing dates for August 8th and August 3rd and September 8th at 5:01 for trim.
Thank you.
Second.
It's a motion by Ms. Clement, second by Ms. Straight. Any other questions or comments? thank you for doing that so well, Ms. Clement, appreciate it.
Well, I think I messed up at the last one, so I'm
You
kind of
got,
a
you
little
got
nervous
that,
that
girl. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? Motion is. Okay, item number 7.3, approval of the errors and omissions insurance renewal. Graves County School Board, including the revised policy coverage. And this was submitted by Dr. Malay, and I see he's making his way to the podium.
Sure, Madam Chair, members of the board, superintendent. If you remember last meeting we had shared that historically you'd spent about 19,000 and some change on that bill, and that's what we were kind of hoping it would be, and I shared that if it was significantly different, that we may bring this back to you. Well, what had happened just after our meeting, we had gotten an update receipt, and it was actually gonna be 29, because there was some claim information, and I'm seeking to understand some of that, but anyway, long story, insurances and things have gone up. So, since it was different, as I shared, we took the monthly option, the 130-day extension, which was around 1,500, whatever was written there, whatever I shared, and so we have it 30 days, but what we did, we kind of renegotiated our coverage. So long story short, it's kind of like when you shop for car insurance. You know how you can have life insurance, you can pay for more. So I talked with the carrier, and she was very great to work with. And I said, all right, let's back this up. What do we require for our size and our claims? We've never used as much as we've never used anything close. So we've never had a claim of over $1 million. So what we had to have for our district was we could reduce our coverage by $1 million. We were paying about $7,000 extra in some other coverages. So she kind of gave us what we needed, but a lot of districts go with their basic, what's required by law. So it's not apples to oranges, so this amount is cheaper than what we have had, but it's kind of like comparing a bigger apple to a smaller apple. So you are covered and everything by law, but we did reduce our coverage. So what does this mean moving forward? Well, that would be the maximum of our claims, but when you look historically at this, like just say we have a claim we want to make we find out something from 3 years ago or 5 years ago, that was a higher policy, but it's covered by that policy. You know, these go on our records, so if we find something from 2019 ever, we have to do a claim. We go back to our record, whoever we were with, and it's for that policy year. All this is generally always done. We rarely ever get an errors and omission claim during the year you're paying it. It's always for the future if you found out there was something. So with that being said, as presented, Carla put in your packet, the amount before you is what we would do, it's attached. We'd do that for the remainder of it, that would be for the fiscal year 26, 27. So it's a net savings of what we were paying, but it is a little bit of reduced coverage, but we're totally covered by law. And she felt very comfortable with that. So I did too. I spoke with Ms. Murray, I think she had done we had some kind of a discussion, but there was nothing she found either that where we had a claim to justify that amount of coverage. In the future years, when our budget is healthier maybe, we can always add. So, but we felt good. Let's see what this was.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Drake,
Second.
second by Ms. Clement. Any questions or for Dr. Malay or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Did you have a question? I thought you were getting ready to say something and I jumped ahead. All right, thank you very much for your research and getting that taken care of for us. Item 7.4. The superintendent recommends approval to continue expenditures until approval of the final budget for the 26-27 fiscal year. I'm assuming this is something we have to do to keep paying our bills. Did you want to tell us what's going on, Ms. Murray?
Number one, I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Drake, second by Ms. Clement, Ms. Pierce, Ms. Clement, I think. So, yes, ma'am.
So, good morning, everybody. This is a little bit different than I'm sure you all are used to, right?
typically you would probably have a tentative preliminary something in front of you by now. Well, you should, because it's the new fiscal year. But because of the financial emergency board and how they have, positioned us in our 26-27 budget, the only thing that they've agreed to do is do a continuation of what looked like 25-26. So what does that mean? I put something in 26-27 so that we can continue just regular operations, and this is that recommendation. Now, we know we have a 1 o'clock meeting with them to go over what we can continue to spend as far as contractually. Their word, their definition of obligation and our definition of contract are two totally different. So everything is on this list for them to go through today to approve so that we can continue that. Now, after that, I'll send you in our next meeting, you'll have a tentative budget, because ultimately we hope to get something from the state about from the July 19th so that we can give you some discretionary information. But this is that information in order to, so I don't want you to think that we're going in a continuation and we're just going to spend and not present something to you. But business still has to continue while we're in this financial emergency. So be rest assured that I put everything out there for them to approve. You all saw it in your briefing. We hope that they give us the ability to continue that, but it's not that we don't want you to think that you're going to approve a budget without looking at it. It's just us giving the ability to continue while the FEP still does their thing, because they're learning as they go, because this is their first time as well. Okay?
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Actually, this one gave too much, or gave extra information, trying to be helpful, and we kind of, it caused us a lot more work.
Yeah, I knew that they were going to ask a question about some of the information that we were giving them, so I gave them the information, trying to be ahead of the game. And then they came back and asked me more information about the extra information that I gave them, because I was trying to give them more information. Because I knew they were going to look at some numbers that I had sent to them and say, what is this anomaly? So I went ahead and just did the long legwork ahead of time. They came back and said, oh, thanks for this information, but what is this?
That's what you get for being helpful.
But we were told,
Proactive.
Ms. Laurie and I were told, gosh, was it yesterday we were told?
She just sent another email this morning.
Oh, goodness, okay, I haven't checked my email, but, there are other districts gonna be joining us,
Yeah.
but they will not be in our,
Potentially.
yeah, potentially. They're really building this as they go, but, they said that they will, there will be other districts joining, and the question we, asked was, are they gonna be put in our group? And they said, well, they're not sure, but that they would probably go into a different, so like, we're the
Guinea pig.
OGs, we're the beginning group, and the next set of districts that are coming into it will be the next group, and then it just every year it'll cycle.
Are they more small district, more
No.
small districts?
No, and what we also found out was that they were they're trying to use the same committee members. So that's helpful for us because it'll make our meetings that much shorter. What I heard them say is that we're almost on the tail end of this.
Yeah.
And they'll be starting fresh with the other groups. So as we go into the FEP, our agendas will definitely be shrinking. But I appreciate it because the more information that we're transparent in, the more comfortable they feel with telling us what we need to fix. We fix it and then we get back. The only challenge that I have is sometimes when they contradict themselves, and that's the only pushback they'll ever get from me is when they contradict themselves.
Well, thank you for making us feel comfortable and confident in your choices and decisions, because that has not always been the pleasure of the board, feeling comfortable in those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, we still have, there's a long way, there's a long road ahead of us, but I feel like we're comfortable, and as long as, if they feel more, the superintendent and I are on the same page when we say we're just ready for this to be over so that we know where we need to go forward. And I think that you're approving this will definitely be helpful in putting us on the right path so that we can get some of these other bills paid.
Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm just curious, are they still serving us and the new districts coming on board on a voluntary basis?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot of time.
they're volunteering.
Are they all retired
They
or
are.
they're all
They're all
retired?
CFOs, school district, they're all CFOs that came from the school district that are all retired now. And they're proficient in they're definitely good in their careers. But it's a stronghold. It is a tight stronghold, but it's not anything that we didn't need as a district, right? So everything that you hear them saying to us is helping us along the way. I think that after we finish, there are some things at the school board that we definitely need to talk about as far as some triggers that will prevent us in your own policies with the help of the attorney that may prevent us from ever getting back here, like holding, if you have a 5%, right? Just me, if there was a 5% and then the state says 3, as soon as that 5% got below the 5%, there should have been something that stopped so that we wouldn't have gotten here, right? Because of your own threshold. So there are some things that we can talk about as a collective, to talk about what are those triggers so that we won't ever get back here again.
I don't think anybody knew it went below 5.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying, there needs to be, so what I mean by policies is, those policies need to be some sort of reporting that we have, not just what you're accustomed to, but what reports from the finance department make sense to giving you all the information that you need to make to very good decisions about what that looks like. And I don't think that the reports, I don't feel like some of the reports that you receive just by either history or policy make sense to what it is that you need to say, this is what it is. Like, ask for a bank statement or a cash flow statement. I mean, that doesn't change, but I mean, bank statements and cash flow, but by month, if you get that information on a quarterly basis, those are triggers to say this number is different from this number, let's call it code. Let's have a budget workshop to talk about it so that we can put some parameters in place before we move forward, so we don't ever get back here.
Right.
I asked her a lot of questions. Before every big budget thing that we did or approved, I would always ask, and she reassured.
Yeah.
And we were only, given what we could see, so.
Thank you, Ms. Murray, very much. I'm just amazed that those people are volunteering their time. I would have sworn they were being compensated because
No, it's free.
it's a
It's
lot
of time.
A lot of work. So any other questions or discussion?
Well, I think at the end of this, when they release us, we need to do some sort of thank you to them, a pretty, something, I don't mean monetary. I don't mean buy them
I don't
thank
even
you.
think
I
it's
mean
allowed.
a really nice thank you and just let them know how much we appreciate what they've done. Cause to me, they've been a godsend. And Ms. Murray's getting the best training possible in my opinion.
And I just wanna say this too, that I think as a district as a whole, not just, I speak for myself, but also for every director and every principal and assistant principal, this has been a great lesson in finance. I mean, obviously, it's embarrassing to say, we're under the financial emergency board. However, I mean, it's not like that, it's not been in vain. I mean, we needed, this, and I needed it. Like I said, it's embarrassing to have to say that, but it's not, the state of education in Florida, this is only gonna become a larger group. I mean, as we know, if they're adding to this, you cannot tell me that all of a sudden, so many districts in Florida don't know how to, how to control their finances.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
Dr. Garfield, while you're making that subtle apology, I just want to remind people, we're in this shape partially because of decisions that the state made about funding and things of that nature, so it's
It was a
not-
perfect storm.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot that we did not do correctly. I did not do correctly. And, this has been a great learning experience. It's kind of like, I'm glad that we have gone through it, but I wish we wouldn't have had to go through it under the circumstance we had to go through it. I mean, that's the only way to put it. I mean, there's things that, as a superintendent, you know, I've shared this with some of you personally, but, I know when this all began, I had a superintendent friend in a very large district, and I called her and I said, hey, did you know, or how often do you do this? How often do you check your pull downs? And she's like, my what? Like, there's just things that you as a superintendent don't know, and I couldn't expect my directors to know it, or my principals, so it's been a great experience. It's not an enjoyable one, but it's been a one that's been a very much a learning one.
But we still can't blame ourselves for what we didn't know then. We do know now.
I think it just highlights the importance of a competent person in that position.
I just am so grateful for the fact that Nicole has agreed to come with her experience and her training, and I think doing this process with the Financial Emergency Board has given her some insight into how school districts operate, because all her experience was at the university level. And it's all gonna be wonderful when we get through it.
My whole thing about where we are, I feel like you all couldn't be in a better space, right? Think about it, when it's good, it's just good. You can elevate a little bit, but when it's bad, you can't go anywhere but up. Right, it's the truth, financially,
We're on the way up.
you can't go anywhere but up, so, you know, sometimes God has to bring you back down. I'm sorry, I'm spiritual. Sometimes God has to bring you back to the center so that you can grow with Him and elevate that way. That's just how I see it.
Reach on, sister.
But I also wanna add, just and then we can move on, I wanna add that our students never, ever
Felt-
down
Yeah,
because of our financial situation.
Yeah.
Our kids never were hurt and have not been hurt by our financial situation.
Well, obviously, we've had days. too.
Obviously, correct, but
Even with the financial burden.
Okay, are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
And, any opposed? And the vote is unanimous. Okay, we're gonna move on to something that I think is really exciting. Item number 7.5, we are being asked to approve a proposed West Glade School Business Entrepreneur End of the Year trip to New York City for June 1 through 3, 2027. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Pierce,
Second.
second by Ms. Drake. Any discussion?
How many students?
I don't think they know for sure.
they won't know until they get their sign
I
ups.
think that's really exciting.
I think it's great that the students that are gonna be, and I thought Tina, or Ms. Wills would be here to discuss this, but they will raise the funds, the majority of the funds from the projects that or the businesses that they create. So it's but of course, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be some room in there, because as we all know, sometimes you start a business and they aren't successful, and we don't wanna punish a student, but I think it's a very creative way to build that program. And I know their business fair last year, their entrepreneurial fair was very successful and really lit a spark under a lot of students. So I'm excited, and I think they'll have a great time.
If you opened the file and read the agenda, it sounds like such an amazing trip. I kind of want to be chaperone.
It's always shocks me the price, what these things cost. And I saw the amount, and then I saw that it said that they're gonna pay for it from their clubs, and I still think that's crazy, but it'll happen.
But when you think about the cost, and that figure covers their flight, their food, their hotel, their tours, the entrance to all of the museums, and it really, I thought it was pretty reasonable for what they're getting. And I'm sure they'll get the money. They'll have donations if they don't raise the money.
The kids work really hard. I went to their little fair last year, and I just wanted to ask them questions to see, how they got involved. And some of the kids actually wrote grants so that they can buy a little, what do you call them, conventional oven type thing so that they can make their cookies and brownies. Two of the teams decided, we're not gonna be able to get enough money, so let's go together. Our product can be built into this, and those two teams work together. It was very amazing to see, the teacher out there is Brianna Hernandez, and what she's brought to these kids. I'll go ahead and say my student went from an F to an A with her coming in here. She's an amazing asset to our school. It scares every ounce of me to say, yes, let's send our kids to New York. It scares me. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, it gives me chill bumps right now. But I have faith in her, and I know that, our kids will be safe with the program that she has proposed to us. I wanted to make sure that if there are any situations going on around that time, that it is looked after to make sure that security is the most important for this trip. And I have no doubt, this proposal here is amazing. And I'm very thankful. I just want it to be known that this teacher has gone above and beyond her first year, what she's done, and I have complete faith in her.
So something that you don't know is when the safety patrol went this past year to New York City, I don't remember exactly what was going on at that time. You know, there was something going on nationally, and there was a lot of concern. I had the sponsor and we sat down, I had phone numbers of every parent, I made her call the tour company, I wanted a plan, I wanted a backup plan, what happened if something got evacuated, like, I'm with you on that, because it does concern me, anytime we send our kids anywhere, but especially to New York City or to Washington DC, I get very concerned with the what ifs. I think it's probably my biggest, I stay up thinking, oh gosh, what happens if, something gets bombed or, 9/11 or, those things really haunt me, but I'm with you, I trust the sponsor. I also trust that we will have a backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan to make sure that if something was happening, just to let you know, last year when they were in New York, the bus company, and I spoke with the bus company personally, if there was a bombing or if there was something that they had to be evacuated, they would pull a bus company from another state, and I don't remember, and they would send them, Carla, do you remember what state they would send them to? It was somewhere like,
Delaware, I think, or it was just like,
but they got them out of Washington, and it was all covered, so I'm with you on that, but I think it's something that we have to kind of watch. If there's something big going on, I think it's something that the board has in discretion and stuff, but I think that it's being covered. I appreciate you bringing that up.
And it is a very reputable travel company, I've used them before, and if there was something big, the company themselves would probably cancel. If you wanna reschedule, so.
And they did say that they have a division that's all they do. It's like a crisis management part of their company where they're watching the news, they're watching, they're monitoring the heightened level of security, like if there's, word that there's gonna be something, they know, beforehand or whatever, so.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. And all opposed? And the vote was unanimous. So, the next item on our agenda is 8.1, general public comments. Do we have any, Ms. Carmen? Thank you. So we'll move on to 9.1, our superintendent's report.
Okay, I hate to do this again, but I would like to ask to go at the end, just because I was sitting here and I didn't have all my stuff written out. So,
She's not organized.
That's right.
Okay, Ms. Drake, would you like to go first on the, we're gonna move on to 10.1, board member comments. Ms. Drake?
I don't really have any comments. I did want to ask the superintendent about the appropriation request that was mentioned in our last meeting. If we are planning to do that, I know the emergency board asked a question about how we were financing that. So I would like for Ms. Murray to help me understand how we're gonna pay for that, and how much it will be for the lobbyists for next year's budget. Like where it comes from, how much it's gonna be, and stuff like that.
So we haven't built it into this year's budget at all. In the one last year, it's going to be, after we close out fiscal year 26, it's going to be a transfer from where we couldn't pay it to where it's allowable for whatever that looks like. 'Cause
Because we have a contract.
we have to
correct?
clean it up, right, we have to clean it up. There's still some statements that were made by the Financial Emergency Board. We'll clean it up and then we'll move forward.
Okay. Alright. I just want to point that out, that that's something we need to pay attention to, be careful with.
Yes, but it is not listed in the contracts that are going before them for the 26-27 today.
And that's because the board hasn't discussed it.
Not only the board hasn't discussed it, but it hasn't been discussed by the team, by the superintendent and director, so it's not on the list. It is even an issue or an invoice or even a thought yet.
Okay. Thank you.
The conversation has not been held, and
Okay.
when we get to that point, then it'll be brought to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Ms. Clement?
Yes, ma'am. At the last meeting, I brought up the RFP and the, policy and procedures for the school board attorney and you said the banks. Are we,
Yes, we're working on it.
okay. I'm just wanting to see, what does that look like for us?
So for the bank, we're trying to pull the last RFP so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Full transparent moment, I think that we just need to rebuild the RFP because we have different needs than we did before when we did the RFP. But you all asked that to do it for a transparent moment in the middle of a new fiscal year, so that meeting was June 25th, right, that we had our board meeting. It's on my agenda. We've talked about making sure that we get it done, but I have my team looking at what the last RFP was, and budget the budget is the priority right now, so we're working on it. It'll just be a Word document that you all look over before we actually put it out to look for the proposal.
What about the attorney one though, because that would be something,
That's the
good
same,
information.
right, that's
to
new
have.
information, right, so you all will have to help us build that one. But like I said, in the middle, that was last week, I haven't even had time. So the only thing that I told my team to do was look at the last RFP for the bank and everything, so it's on the list, but I'm only one person.
Well, and I think too that it's two complete separate, RFPs, we're trying to, we need to have, there needs to be some conversations held. Ms. Murray and I talked, I know some of the things that, the board has expressed to me, but I think that there needs to be a conversation with the board. I don't know how if that would be better to do that one-on-one.
I would have to do it one-on-one, so I would meet with you all separately so that you all could tell me what it is that you want in the RFP. And then we could build it out, so it would be like a Q&A, one-off, and then we can build it that way, and then I'll have something more to deliver back to you in a collective document so that you all can vet whatever, I won't, of course I can't share it, but then I'll collectively pull it all together to make one concise document as to what you feel your needs are.
Are we able to call for an executive meeting for that? No.
For the RFP?
No,
No,
I'm still learning too.
yeah, no, it's okay, I'm here, you can't call for an RFP, an executive meeting on an RFP. But I can do exactly what I just told you I can do and we'll be within the rules.
Okay, and then also we asked for the organizational umbrella and they said that it was done, that we would get it last week and I haven't received it, so I just wanted to check and see if that was something available yet.
Dr. Mullane, could you send the board members a copy of the, job responsibilities that we sent to the principals?
Are you talking about the list of what everybody does, that breakdown? No, I don't think they have that, we still have the update.
So
You're
we're
talking about
still,
every director, like that cheat sheet that we have?
yes,
We can send that.
okay, thank you.
I just had some other actually updated from somebody yesterday,
So when we send it out, Ms. Clemens, I forwarded it to the principals and asked them and directors if there was any changes or if they saw something, you know, that they did or they didn't do, to let me know, so that's, I think that's what he's saying.
Sure, well, what that is, sorry if there's any confusion, we wanna make sure, like, as we're doing in finance, HR across the district, that people know we've changed people have different responsibilities, so we need this sheet of, who do you go to? If you hear a term, you can kind of find it, oh, that's Carla, or that's Chris, you know, that type of thing, or that's federal program, so we're just trying to make that real clear, yes, that's about done.
And when you say that, is that what you're looking for?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
It is.
the way you said it, it made me think that it should be like our organizational chart where you have the superintendent and you have the directors underneath them, and who's underneath them.
No, she's
You
talking
want that
about,
or you want
That's what
the
you
job duties?
no, she's talking about that, because I
I
brought
was
it
talking
up.
about that, but as you bring that up, I really like both to
Yeah.
be able to.
Okay.
So
Like
that's what I'm
visuals
looking
and-
at asking for,
Okay, sure.
you know.
Yeah.
I can-
When
I can
think of
send you one,
organizational
Dr.
chart,
Lex,
that's what I think
yes,
of. You have
but
the superintendent,
I do
the
want
director,
that.
Or the school board.
That's what I am asking for, but now that you bring that up, I even like having more knowledge to be able to understand myself, and then, you know, people call us and sometimes the only answer, you don't have an answer, you just have to call the school board office and they don't wanna call up here, so having that in front of us is even better too.
I'll volunteer one other thing, just because we're in a, we're trying to straighten up, clean up, we're ready for the new year, and we're excited about it. We posted, on both HR page and the financial page, Ms. Murray's, a lot of documents for this coming year, there's things about transparency, things we want people to know that are there. The handbook for this year has been updated, we make sure job descriptions are on there, whether it's salary schedules, those types of things, that's being done. But one body of work that we're going to be doing this year is, while we've posted job descriptions, and they are accurate, we're going to be, the superintendent's asked us to look at things, whether it's like job descriptions for supplements and things, like what the expectations are for people who are receiving funding. So I won't give you a time frame other than saying, in the coming semester, you are going to be seeing some different updates to some things, maybe historically it's been a while, so we're getting there.
We did do a facility walkthrough, with Mr. Gressett at the,
All right.
renovation at the elementary school. And I really do, I know that y'all asked that we wait till the summer when the kids are out of the school to do a facility walkthrough at all buildings. We haven't gotten to do that yet. I don't know if it will be when school is back in session, but I really do request another walkthrough with the board, just to be able to go through the offices, the schools, the rooms, and see what's being done and what needs to be done, so that we can see. I know the water project at West Blades is something that we would never walk through and see, but just to be there on campus and have knowledge of what needs to be done. I just really wanna see that. I wanted to do that before our budget, so that we can be knowledgeable about some of our decisions, but can we please look at that walkthrough?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to set up a date with Mr. Thomas or Mr. Thomas and me, or. Yeah.
I think the last walkthrough we did was with Mr. Thomas, and it was great. It was the first day of the new football coach. It was the first day he was there, and so we got to meet him, have conversation. It's just good to be able to have conversations with people walking through the hallway, in my opinion. I know, sometimes people are busy and they can't stop, and I don't expect them to stop what they're doing to entertain us. I want to be able to walk through and by what the district office is saying needs to be done and seeing it for myself. Yes, sir.
Would it be okay if would it be okay if I just send you guys an email with some proposed dates and you guys respond to that? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure to work with Mr. Thomas and Mr. Gressett too to get it going. And one of the things I did yesterday, the egg roll truck was in town and the profits off that went to Frosty Kids Summer Camp. I want to say how amazing it is that the camp out there, there's not any other opportunities for our kids to do throughout the summer. There's nowhere else for them to go be safe or free to be fed 2 times a day. And I'm very thankful for that opportunity. It is hot out there, those kids are having fun, they're being kids. when you go somewhere and you see kids, you know, they're on a computer, or these kids are outside sweating, having fun, learning things that our community does not support. I want to bring as much support to this operation as possible. Even next year, I think she's outgrown that building. I know that we can all volunteer to go out there and do things, even if it's just serving food, or if you haven't been, I'm just wanting to throw it out there. Please go out there and see how amazing this program is for these kids.
I've donated over thousands and,
I
Giving
mean, I'm not
balls
saying
and-
even
and
whether it's
everything.
financial or emotional, you know, just being present sometimes is
I've always
overwhelming
donated to her.
to see how great.
She doesn't have a whole lot of adult help. I think that's what Kim is trying to say.
That's the scary.
And throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, she has some adults out there, but no week that she started, and I only know this because of my relationship, that's my god sister. She has never had a day with less than 115 kids. Yesterday she had 128.
She had 135 today that my husband dropped up the beach balls.
Right. So she hasn't had a day under 100 kids. So I think what I hear school board member Clement saying is if you have the time, she would love to see your face and your check. But she would love to see your face and help out, because a check goes a long way, but so does your presence.
And it's great, I mean, those kids, they don't know me and I don't expect them to know me, but just doing something small with them and seeing their smile. I don't know about you, but a kid smile and they don't know what you're there for, they just know you're there for a helping hand or to see what's going on. It's very refreshing and it reminds us that we need to do better, we need to be a better community. I'm not talking about the school board, I'm talking about our community. We've got to do better in supporting our youth. Our future are those kids right there. If we want them to be outstanding individuals, they need to feel supported. I had people in my youth that, I lived in Flagville. To get to town to do something was, my parents were working, they couldn't do it. I had people that stood up and were those volunteers to make sure I got to town to participate in those events. You know, we have to be those ones to stand up and volunteer for those kids. That's kind of a lot for me to say, and I'm not trying to point fingers, but I am trying to see what we can do as a community to come together, be there for our kids, and find more support for something that is
Good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And whether that's finding a new building for them to go to where they have more support and bigger opportunities, whatever that may be, I'm asking the community to come together and make that happen for our students. And some of them, you know, aren't Glades County school students, they're private school, they're homeschool, whatever the case may be, they're still kids in our community that need your support.
I would like to add, Kim, I think that you were definitely right on in your comments, but I would like to add that I think this is a perfect opportunity for you as board members and as community leaders to step up and have conversations with your city council members and your board of county commissioners, because really and truly, you know, most communities have parks and recs, they have, you know, they have this built into their budgets. And really and truly, Ms. Krosky does it because she saw a need and she did what she does, and that's, she makes things happen, out of the goodness of her heart. But, and I know, if she was sitting right here, I would say this, but really and truly, you know, she at some point is going to get to the point where she's stretched so thin from doing everything that she does that she's gonna get tired. And really, it's not her responsibility as a citizen to do everybody else's job for them. And really and truly, I think our community, what you said, I'm just saying it from a different lens because it's not Shawn Krosky, private citizen, responsibility to do what she's doing.
And when
It's
she
the
gets
city-
tired, we're gonna all feel it, it's gonna be sad.
Correct. It's the city of Moorhaven and it's the county commissioner's job to provide those opportunities. We're doing our job is providing for their education. I want to partner with the city and this county to see what we can do as a group. But I just think that it's a bigger conversation and I'm ready to have it. I think you are as well, but I think at the same time,
The school is feeding the children.
breakfast and
Yes,
lunch.
breakfast and lunch, we are being,
That's
On days we're open.
yes.
There was a confusion on the days that we weren't open, but they found, the community stepped up and made sure
Absolutely.
that they were still fed and the opportunity was there for them to be taken care of.
In the early nineties and the late eighties, I know the county had a program because I ran it one summer, in 91. Now, the population is a little bit larger and Ms. Krosky has already proven with her numbers that it would be feasible for the county to do this again.
County, city, school board,
All of us.
Well, once
are
again,
going to-
she's fundraising to pay for the trips and to pay for the things.
That's how I read
And
that.
there are grants that the city and the county can get to provide those.
Yes, you
So
do.
they wouldn't have to, she wouldn't have to do the fundraising, 'cause she gets, I know recently she's been criticized because she's, out trying to raise this money, right? But if she didn't raise the money, it's
It
not
can
gonna
come out.
magically happen. And if a grant can be written by a county, government can get grant money for it, or a city. I know the city has CAPTA, or, there's things that can be done that we're not tapping into because the conversation hasn't been had. And I appreciate you bringing that up.
Not all
I think
conversations are
I
comfortable.
think that's a great stepping off point to where there needs to be maybe it's something you could lead even, if you would, work with Carla, let's try to get maybe a one-on-one with you and maybe the county manager, maybe you and the city manager, or maybe you and or go before the county commissioners. Whatever I need to do to assist you, or if you wanna, I think it would be a great thing. I think it's a great thing for our community.
it is,
So
without a doubt, there is zero question whether this is good for our community or not. Those kids are safe, they're fed, and they're loved, and they're being kids, they're not on little iPads or phones the whole time, they're being kids.
Could I comment
Of
on that,
course.
on your, I don't mean to butt into your time there, but I'm gonna speak as a trustee for the J.J. Wiggins Trust, which gets a lot of negative publicity about not helping provide for kids in the summer. And I want to let you all know that, first of all, the Wiggins Trust did donate to Ms. Crosby's program this year. It's the only program that we have donated to in several years, other than our annual scholarships, because we felt that she really was filling a need that aligned with Mr. Wiggins' will, that wanted a youth center for the youth of Glades County. So we did give really a small donation, but I'm trying to, as a trustee on that board, there was YMCA summer camps at the youth center. We gave them the building for free a couple summers ago. The turnout was minimal. I think the reason the turnout is so huge there, I'm saying less than 20 kids, maybe even 10 or fewer came to the Wiggins Center when YMCA ran it, and Ms. Krosky worked there, right? So it was kind of a similar run program. I think the proximity to the neighborhood is the reason she's got the numbers she has. And that building itself, an enlargement of a building or a new building in that area might do better than moving the location to a bigger building, because kids can walk there. And that was a big criticism of where the youth center was built. It was too far out of town, like kids can't get there. They did
After
sidewalks
27.
and the Wiggins tried to run a youth center and did for over 20 years successfully, I would say, but towards the end of that time, the character of kids changed, and they put computers in there. They had computers around the whole building, and kids were coming in and playing video games all day long, because it wasn't really run in a way that would have tournaments and, promote physical activity. So I think there is a willingness from the Wiggins Trust to help with some summer programs. I know as a trust, I speak for only myself in that, but I am certainly willing. We do have the building for sale, And my hope is if the building sells, we can make a substantial contribution to the city and or county to establish a youth center in a better location. And that the city or county governmental agency can run it. The trust was not equipped to run it. They should have built the facility, hindsight's 20/20, right? They should have built the thing and given it to the city or county to run. Because running it and the maintenance on the building eats up a lot of scholarship money. And our goal is for these scholarships to be perpetual. Every kid that lives here and graduates high school gets $8,000 in cash
Excuse me,
for a long time.
not like Glades County students, not just.
Residents.
Yes.
If you live in Glades County, you get the money, whether you go to our school or not, homeschool, whatever. If you graduate from LaBelle High School, but you live in Glades County, you get the scholarship. So I just want the public to know that, you know, we see the problem as well, and we wanna help with it, but the traditional way we ran the building was not successful, and I would not want to go back to what we did. But when I see the success of her program, I fully support what she's doing, and I think I can't thank her enough for her personal commitment. And I think she's a volunteer as well,
She is.
and that blows my mind. I'm like, who volunteers every day of their summer to do something like this? I mean, it's amazing what she's doing.
So she does it because it was one of the things that, I don't know if you all know her dad, but her dad loved kids. So
Yeah.
it's DNA driven. But I can say that as she went out to that building because they gave it to her for free. It wasn't by design, but just to counter some of this, those kids aren't walking to there, they're getting dropped off by their parents from all over the city. Like from all over the county. There are people that are driving in, dropping off those children, so I don't know if it's the attraction of it being just in the center of town and it's easier, but that's why she's out there. She's not out there because it was just, the committee just found it for her to be, it was free for her, so she didn't have to worry about it. So that my dad has donated like 2 or 3 60 thing coolers and stuff like that, because she's building it from the ground up. But just there is no walking distance for the majority of the kids that are out there. Their parents are driving them and dropping them off from all walks of the city, from the River Road all the way to Lakeport. I mean, they're just dropping them off because those kids talk. So kids want to hang out with other kids that are friends because they don't see each other. You know, in the summer, you don't see some of now they're playing with them, drawing chalk and everything. They went up to that yesterday, they had a chalk party and they went and wrote thank you to everybody in front on their driveway. So they're doing all the things, but just so there's not walking distance. These children are coming, 120 kids don't live in Washington Park.
Right.
That's
Well,
right.
when they had it
All
at the
ages, I thought it was little kids and.
No, it's everybody.
All ages.
120 kids don't live in Washington Park.
Well, when they had it, and the reason I assumed that, that's my mistake.
No, it's fine.
I apologize. The reason I assumed that is because when it was at the Wiggins Center and YMCA was running it, kids were not coming. So it's that she's running a high.
They love her. They love
Yeah.
her. She just has the gift.
It's her leadership that is driving the number of kids.
What- I've been wanting to interject this, but the kids are appreciative, and that's very refreshing. And I think that Sean is teaching that. I mean, of course, parents do too, but the kids, they're saying thank you, and they're saying thank you in the ways they know how, with the hugs and can I help? And it's very exciting to see that. And another thing, when we talk about partnering, we might could partner with busing. I'm not talking about, a lot of expense, but we could look at that to see if there, if it were to be at a larger place, can we pick up 40 kids from West Glades and bring them over?
I just think that it's a very large conversation, and I truly appreciate, Board Member Cummings bringing it forward, and I know, I think that it's a great conversation that needs to be held, but I think it needs to be held on a larger scale. And I know that you truly are passionate about that, and I know that, you know, we can only go forward in our thinking, but I think that the conversation needs to be about financial assistance for her, and not just, you know, one person giving money. I'm talking about the city and the county being partners with the school district and whatever we need to do to have this conversation. Because even when you even look about it, when you think about the whole thing, even like the ball fields, we own, you know, the school district owns the ball fields, you know. What is the city's, what are they putting into the youth? Are they promoting the sports programs of, you know, the Little League? And I don't know that, I don't know you know, the details.
This could be something that could be on the joint conference, or the joint meeting with the city council and county commissioners. We need to make a list, and this would be one
Okay, so
that needs to be addressed.
I think we've discussed.
I only have one more
We've-
thing.
Okay, we've exhausted that discussion, we're not gonna solve any problems. So we're gonna get back to Ms. Clement's list.
Thank you. Okay, my next question is I've had several community members call and ask what the future plans are for the old elementary school. I've let them know that we haven't, had those discussions, what will be done yet. They've heard several things, you know, how community says, oh, it's gonna be a ball field, it's gonna be a swimming pool. There's no telling where this conversation comes from, but I just wanted it to be a conversation today of where are we on getting ideas and what are we gonna do with the grounds of the old elementary? Or how do we start those conversations if they're not?
So at this time, there is no, I mean, there's a lot of things that we all, you know, I'd love to have a ball field, I'd love to have tennis courts, I'd love to have, I mean, I'd love to have it all. But the truth of the matter is that there's not funding available. I don't think we're at a point that we are, you know, when I think about how to get money for a project of anything, that would be the appropriations, or that would be special facility. We just, at this point, there has not been any type of hard discussion. We talked about kind of what we'd like to do, like what are some things that we would, you know, would like to put there. We've talked about a ball field, we've talked about, but, I mean, I don't know, I don't wanna get people's hopes up, because you get people together and you say, hey, we're gonna, you
Well,
know.
at least they'll know, at least we have a common answer across the board. Right now, we're not financially able to do anything, so those conversations are at the top of our.
So here's the response I would tell them, it's gonna be a beautiful green space.
Open green
Right, and right now, we're planning on using it if it wants to be utilized as either a practice football field or practice soccer field. We're sodding it and we're crowning it, meaning the water drains off it, so that we can use it as practice fields. Also, the way the septic system goes through it, the way that we're setting up the cleanouts, that they're gonna be in the ground so that it can be used as a practice field or as a ball field down the line. But, and we left the oak trees in there too, so that we have shade, so that we can use it as a practice field, because there are restroom facilities there on campus. The trees provide the shades, that shady area when they need to do the resting and stuff like that. But yes, we've talked about a lot of things. I mean, my personal thing is I want to put our softball field in there, but it's just, that's a financial constraint that we can't handle right now. People say, well, you know, how much is it, you know, put some clay out there. Well, you've got dugouts, and probably the biggest thing is the lighting, you know, but there is space for that. But I mean, we're open for suggestions, but it is gonna be money. I don't see a swimming pool going in there, because there are septic lines that go through that field, so.
I think the best answer, if anybody asks right now, is that is to be determined.
That's right.
We don't know, and for right now, it's just gonna be an open space.
And to be honest, it's just, and this, please don't take this for anything that what I'm fixing to say, because it's gonna come out really bad, but it's not a top priority of mine right now.
And-
We've got other things that we've got to do, and, I mean, I know you're probably getting asked quite a bit. I've been asked myself, and why don't y'all do this? And I'm like, at this point, we're not even ready for that discussion, like,
And really-
it's another round.
And
This is
really,
us being transparent and
Yeah.
being able to make it
100%.
understandable.
and in all honesty, we were never asked what we planned on doing with that 6 acres that was purchased 20 years ago, that now the elementary school sits on. You know, and this is 2 acres, or a little more than 2 acres probably, so, I mean, it's interesting that that's kind of come up now. I mean, like I said, with that 6 acres over there that was on West Avenue, there was never any, no one ever asked us, well, what are you gonna do with that property, you know? So, just an interesting thing to come up.
That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Clement. Ms. Pierce,
I'm good, I just hope everybody's enjoying their summer.
Mr. Leckie?
Oh, wait, I'm not good.
I'm good.
I almost had a heart attack whenever I read your letter yesterday. And I'm glad to know that it's gonna be a while. A little while.
Mr. Leckie?
Well,
But I wish you well.
One more time.
And just so you know, the reason I sent that earlier is I wanna give the district opportunity to find someone to replace me.
That's impossible.
Well, it'll happen.
That's my biggest fear.
I appreciate, I was gonna say, I appreciate that 3-month warning. Mrs. Clement, I am willing, to work, if we have like an ad hoc committee or something, to get the ball rolling on bringing the city and the county and the school board together. Like, Superintendent,
Barfield?
Barfield, I mean, I would, Ms. Clement, I would work with you and let's go to the district and, county commissioners and stuff. I'd be happy to join you, and let's start on that. This is July, and this is the time to start on it, to get it
We're supposed to
ready.
have one meeting a year with all
Oh,
of
I
them.
know, we've had one in the 2 years I've been here, yeah. So, I mentioned this, I don't know if it was on record or what, but I mentioned I'm not gonna be here at the next meeting. It is, if you recall, it was exactly a year ago when I was on a family trip and, my mother fell out in High Springs and then of course, a series of timely, period of my time, very unfortunate. Well, the company for which we were gonna do our vacation will not allow refunds, but they did allow us to, come back a year later. So, when I go back a year later, it's during a school board meeting. And I wanna do that with my father, my wife and my father. And that's why I'm gonna miss. I will be taking a vacation that my mom should have gone on. And I'll be taking that with my dad. We're gonna have fun, we're gonna do everything that she would have done. And y'all think of me, and, the one other thing I wanted to point out is that I'm willing to get started on that, and, Ms. Clement, I admire your fervency. I do, very much.
Not everybody does.
Well, you can be fervent about the wrong things, I'm sure, but I do admire your fervency, and I just think if there's 130 kids going to a summer camp and it's not sponsored by the county, then what's being stated is, look what the county could be doing. Okay, so,
My cowboy husband came home and said, why aren't y'all doing something?
right,
I mean, but then, you know, it's-
right, so.
It was like the county or somebody needs to be doing something.
Right, and nobody has said that we shouldn't take our part, so that's why I will join her, and we can talk afterwards, or get on the phone or whatever, but we will get her done. Great. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? No? I wasn't at the last meeting, for which I apologize, but, and so this probably was mentioned then, but I want to just say again publicly how proud I am of our kids, the scores on their, end of course and their, progress monitoring and their assessments and the fact that our district is a back-to-back A district and that our schools are all A and B schools and, you know, we might have our financial problems, but we're smart. We're just not money smart, but we're getting money smart. But our kids are learning and they're showing us that. And kudos to the principals and assistant principals and teachers and paras and secretaries and everybody that has made that happen. And I'm just, when I talk to friends and family that live in other districts, I just brag about how great our schools are. So, that's all I have to say.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay, so I will, follow up with Mr. Thomas to make sure about the walkthrough of the facilities. I met with, this is a conversation that I would probably like to do a workshop on because I'm sure that we're also going to, there's gonna be a lot of conversation, moving forward, but myself, Mrs. Mullins, Sam Thomas met to discuss the role that the virtual school versus traditional school at graduation would have this upcoming year. We also discussed some of the concerns, the pros and cons, and we feel we have a really good plan of making sure that those students were included from the get-go this year. We had about 12 students that walked.
Yes, ma'am.
I think there was a lack of some communication, but not because anyone intentionally did it. I just think that it was, it's a new thing. It's a new way of schooling, of education, and as we grow as a district, I think it's something that we are gonna be needing, direction on. One of the things that, we need to discuss as a board is who can walk, meaning, we have our, board policies, but who can walk at, like after December, who can walk at graduation? You know, if a student is here, if they come in March, are they allowed to walk at graduation? If they transfer in, are they allowed to walk?
From a private school.
Yes, from private school. Yes. But I think it's a conversation the board needs to have, so I'll be bringing that, you'll be getting some emails from me concerning that.
Dr. Barth, can I ask a question?
Yes, absolutely.
Are there state requirements? I mean, I know we're doing this as a district, but are there state requirements about who walks, who doesn't, what we should be doing, is there protocol, anything like
I
that?
don't know that there's protocol, I know Angie's over there shaking her head because she's familiar with this as well as a guidance counselor, but I know Ms. Branch can tell you that, I think, and this conversation came up at a past superintendent's meeting because there's really not a lot of direction and guidance. So we're kind of like, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Glades County, we've always been pro whatever's best for the students. We want our kids to enjoy that celebration of achievement. But I think it does bring up some questions about like, okay, so you want to transfer in as a homeschooler, you've been homeschooled for 11 years. What are you want to walk at graduation, you want to transfer in as a senior, your senior year, what does it look like? I mean, there's just a lot of, I'm throwing out just instances, but I want to be more concise in that conversation. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had because with school choice being more, broader now, I think we need to be in front of it instead of behind it. So that's all. I want to let you all know that you're going to be receiving some things from me and that I'd like to maybe workshop it or maybe bring it up at a board or, meeting that we can discuss it. Because I do feel like it's a conversation that there's going to be a lot of different opinions and I want us to be, I want us to be thorough on this because, I I know like, for example, our valedictorian policy was set, and it says, you know, that you have to be in, you have to be at the high school 2 full years, correct?
Yes.
2 full years. You know, I mean, some of those things, I think we need to just readdress, we need to look at, we need to make sure that we are just thinking it through. I mean, policy is great, but if it's been a policy for 50 years and we do it just because it was a policy set 50 years ago, this is the best policy, that's all. I want to acknowledge a staff member, that we have in our amongst us today. Actually, a couple, but one in particular, because I know the board, is truly going to be ecstatic. Kristen Horn does not get a lot of, kudos, but she has really went above and beyond with our favorite thing, Ms. Drake, what is it?
Medicaid.
Medicaid. And I know this is my comments, but Ms. Horn, would you please come to the podium and discuss what's been done?
Yes.
Because out of 6 years, and then whatever many years prior to my tenure, we've never gotten this far. And I cannot believe how difficult this has been. And I just, anyway,
It's been 8 years.
at least 8.
It's been 8 years.
Yeah.
It's been longer, because Mr. Aldridge tried and couldn't get it done.
So we do own all 7 portals, so we are able to bill. I'm working with a neighboring district, I've gone over there, I've gotten some pretty inclusive training. They are actually here today in this building training people how to bill. So we're like this close. I could not also do it without Amber. I'm pretty sure Amber needs a raise, Dan. She had to build out these reports that no one gave us information on how to do. So she's like the point A and then I'm Z. So when she gets them billed, I run them, we get refunded. So we're so close, but it is a lot. It is a lot. If you wanna stop by and say, can you show me what you've done and what it looks like, is every director is going to have a portion, because every department has a piece. They're expanding Medicaid billing at the state level to include a lot more behavioral functions. So our school counselors, our mental health counselors, if we have kids that require VIPs and stuff like that, we can now bill for those where we couldn't about 2 months ago. We are kind of weeding through, because we did lose a lot of time, right? We did. The state recognizes it, I have to recognize it, and say, well, okay, well, from today, what can we do? So we can go back a year. So I'm currently looking through who within this year can get eligible and what services they receive. So I can attach the documentation, when we get in, it's done.
I have a question. I'm sorry, Dr.
No,
Martin.
no, that's fine.
Okay, so if you're gonna bill things that happened in the last fiscal year, can that,
A calendar year, so it's gonna cover a couple of fiscal
okay,
years.
but part of what you're gonna bill is last fiscal year,
Yes,
last school year.
yes, ma'am.
So can that income show as income in the last fiscal year?
That, I think Ms. Murray needs to meet with the state on, because that would become part of the SBAC.
It will be a receivable.
Does that mean yes?
No, that means no. It will be a receivable for everything in the fiscal year that she's going to recover. It'll be a receivable on our financial statements for last fiscal year. So FY '26, it'll be reported as, depending on, I'm hesitant oftentimes about coding a receivable, because that's basically me telling financial statements or anybody that's looking at our books that we're going to get this revenue, right? So I have to be very sure about me putting that on paper before we do that. And because this is a process that we're just in, if it is, it's going to be very small. And I'm going to say that very transparent, because if anything, I would rather it say we're going to receive $1 for last year, and then I'm going to assume in the new year that it just be a prior year adjustment to my financial statements after I don't code it as a receivable. I'm sorry, I'm using a whole lot of financial language. In other words, on my financial statements, whatever that number looks like, because there is no historical data, I'll use a number, prorate that number down to make me feel comfortable, put it on my financial statements as a receivable. I'm going to put that $2 on my financial statement. So whatever I collect, whenever I go back to do my new financial statements or I do my adjustments, and it's more than the $2 that I said, I'll make a prior year adjustment to increase that number to the real number.
So it could help our end of year fund balance, that's what I'm trying to
Yes.
figure out.
Yes, and they did warn me that the first couple of ones we have are going to look substantially lower because we're recouping things that happened in the previous year. But as the different pieces of the puzzle start to get into their groove and we get everything going, those, that financial response will increase. So,
We also have to remember that the report is one part. Getting the check is another one.
I think you want to thank Okeechobee County Public.
Yes, I do wanna thank Okeechobee County, they have been so warm and welcoming and letting me come. And I sit with them for hours and I just pick her brain and, it's really different hearing somebody tell you on a Zoom call than sitting with somebody who's doing it and saying, this is the process, this is what we do, and this is how it looks.
Can you tell them what, the lady that you're working with, how much money she brought in, and the difference?
It was a substantial difference, it went from 5 figures when she started to 6 high figures projected.
We could potentially be covering about 250, 275K a year.
And that's without the other piece, which is the Raymond County ceremony planning for admin.
What is the lady's name you're working
Roberta Baker, and she is here today, she is here, yes. She's working with transportation.
So we can bill for it.
Yeah, so we can go, and she volunteered to come. I was there yesterday and she said, I do have some time, and I said, well, I talked with Mr. Thomas, I said, can Angie come? But I was already there, so it would be day after day, and be taking her time. She goes, I'll come to you. And I said, hey, we have a board meeting, but I will step out, so if you see me get up and down and on my phone, it's because I'm answering questions. While we're on that process. Anything else?
And then the next person that I wanted to acknowledge, and I've acknowledged her social media, I've acknowledged her in face, but Wendy Mullins I do not think you understand the pressure and the, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the good word, she's back there smiling, because I'm sure she's thinking of a few words that could describe what I've done to her. School grades, a school grade does not define this district. Us being an A, it doesn't define us because it never defined us what we received for a decade. But for me personally, when I came back to Glades County, I wanted more for the kids in Glades County. I wanted our kids to have a purpose, a reason for knowing they could do better and to be better. So even when I was a turnaround principal in Lee County, the data was very important to me. And so when I drive her crazy and I drive my staff crazy, I drive her crazy the most because she understands, she gets how I feel about it. And I want to be able to provide you all with accurate numbers. And, I'm a graph person, I'm a data person, but I just want to publicly let her know how much it means to me that there have been times, and she will not tell you because it could jeopardize her job, how many times I called her in the middle of the night, in the early mornings to say, I'm looking at this data, there's some numbers off, or why is this school, and she might not know the answer, but she's very quick to say, Dr. Barfield, it's 2 a.m. I can't call anybody right this second, but I'll get that answer for you, and she always does. And so I appreciate her, and I know that it looks like, I'm not up here just giving great kudos, because I try to thank everybody as much as possible, and I realize that we are a small district and we do a lot, and we're not perfect, and we've got a lot of flaws, but there's very few times in life when we can be publicly thanked for something that we do to go above and beyond. And I do thank you, Wendy, and just appreciate what you do for our district, so thank you.
I thank you every day, Wendy, you're in my prayers.
Thank you.
All the time.
Now we're praying for you because of me, I'm sorry.
I'll take it.
Okay, just a couple of short things, but, one thing is, Ms. Clemens and Mr. Lucky, when you have the conversation, I would appreciate it if you would include, Ms. Krosky in that conversation, because I do feel like she is, the foundation of this, and I feel like I'd like to hear her opinion and see, because I think maybe she may have some things that she would like to address that maybe,
She has,
so I think she needs to be in that
she
conversation.
has a plan.
Okay, so this next thing is, I'm sure going to just be quite the conversation, but I'm gonna bring it up. We have a facility in our community that, is, unnamed. It is called the basketball gym, the volleyball gym. I want to review our policy for naming facilities. And I would like to bring to the board, at some point, I would like the opportunity to have a naming of the Moorhaven Middle High School gym in honor of Mr. Wayne Reese and Mr. Sonny Hughes. And I would like to bring that to the board, and maybe, I don't know how that happens. Ms. Drake, I don't know, I think maybe you were on the board when the Joe Brown Stadium was, no?
No, it wasn't, no, it's.
I know you were. So what is the process, because I
I think our policy says they have to be deceased. I'm not certain of that.
I think you're right, so we would need to readdress our policy.
don't,
Because I brought up a while back. I brought up the idea of naming the bus barn facility after Al Brown. And I was told our policy says they have to be deceased.
Change the policy.
That would be the place to start.
So I think that we need to relook at maybe looking at the policy, and then I would bring it up the next
And
one.
I'm not 100% sure that's what I would call.
And that might be a good turning question.
Many districts have that policy.
I think it might be a standard.
Is it that they have to be
That's
passed
not
away?
law, we can change
Yeah,
it.
that's not unusual, but you can revise it, and districts, I'm dredging up memories here, that it's also highly dependent on like a community committee, that sort of goes through a process and decides if that's what they want to do, and then ultimately the decision is the board.
It's not law,
Hey, I got a park
No,
like
it's
that
not law,
for me.
it's custom.
we can change it.
I don't think they have to do that.
It's my name on the side.
I just think that, it would be honoring two great men who dedicated a lot of their life to coaching the younger generation and doing well for our community. And I agree with you, Ms. Brown, about Al Brown, so I think that it's something we need to look at. I wanted to just go over the data, however, I'm gonna hold on this because I want our principals to do it. They work tirelessly to get their scores where they are. We are one of 9 districts in the state of Florida, one of only one of 9, am I saying that correct? That have no C or D or F schools. We are tentatively making plans for this upcoming year, and we've got some lofty goals. And our principals are the ones that come up with the goals, and I am supporting them, but I told them they had to, if I drove them crazy, and of course, Ms. Mullins, I'm sure, is back here about to pass out, but our goal is to have all A's at every school this upcoming year, and I truly feel we will meet that goal.
Oh, I think so too.
I think we're great to be on the AB honor roll, but wouldn't it be nice to be on the A honor roll?
Absolutely, absolutely. And
We're very
very close.
We are,
We are.
the high school was 1 point from an A. And the elementary school was very, very close. And the high school, I won't go into that, but I believe we could be an A, but, I just feel like this upcoming year, we're gonna be the only district in the state of Florida to have all A schools. I believe that that's what we'll be, because we have the right administration, we're there. And then the final thing that I want to bring up was the IRS. We are getting some traction. It's slow, it's kind of like the Medicaid, but we are, Wink News wrote, us and asked for some follow-up information. Wink News. Wink News has there's an IRS news department in the IRS. I don't know if you all knew that, but I didn't know that. And Wink News could contact them. So that stimulated a little bit of interest as well. Ms. Drake has also been working with Senator Frank,
Rick Scott, yeah.
Scott Franklin's office. We've also been working with Tommy Griffin, which is the representative for Scott Franklin, correct, okay. Nothing happens quickly. I mean, we're trying, it's not something that we're just saying, oh, if it happens, it happens, we're working it. And if anyone that is here today or anyone on the board, if you can write an email, just ask, where are we? What's going on with Glades County and the IRS situation? I would greatly appreciate it. And I think that's all I had just for one.
Okay, I just want to caution you, Mr. Lucky and Ms. Clement, about the sunshine law, if y'all get together.
You're
Talk to Ms. Krosky about this, anything that might come to the board for a vote, you would not be able to discuss, is that correct, Mr. McKinley?
Well, they need to do it individually instead of together, because if we're not there to
You're
hear
right,
it,
you're absolutely
they're breaking their sunshine.
Um,
right.
Chairman? Yes.
Carla pointed out, our policy number 7250.
Yeah, I'm just reading it.
Yeah,
You don't have
they
to
do
be
not
there.
have
You
to
don't
be
have to be
deceased. Yeah, I don't know where I got that from.
Some say no, many say that, many do say that.
Policy 7250,
Yes,
it says nothing about,
No, it just says that if you're in public office, you have to be out of office for 5 years before you can have something named against you, but it's living or deceased.
okay,
And
well,
I think the names that were discussed with that criteria anyway, so.
these are all amazing men and have been a huge asset to our district.
Well, I think that when you look at Glades County school history and you look at people that have been an influence in so many kids' lives, the two men that stand out, to me anyway, are Shane Hughes and Wayne Reese. And so, do we need to have a committee? That's Beth Barfield speaking, but I'm not making that call. I just wanna do it the right way.
How about if the board requests or directs you to start that process for their consideration?
It says the superintendent shall submit proposed names for schools to the school board for final approval.
So put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Along with a justification. 10 years from now, won't be precedent that do it willy-nilly. I think that's why policies are written.
Even in the city president, airport.
So yes, that's correct.
Any other comments or concerns?
We have just a couple dates for you all to know. The Methodist Church is graciously providing their new teacher meal on July 27th. It will begin at 8 a.m., correct?
Is that right, Miss
Yes, ma'am, 8 to 10 a.m.
Ms.
Okay.
Mullins is the one in charge of that, I'm just, yes, it's July 27th at 8 AM.
Okay. I would like for you on your calendars to write down July 24th. I will be sending you an email, but I have a admin retreat that day. It's gonna be here at the district office. All of our admin, our district directors will be here. We'll be doing a lot of training. We'll be doing a lot of, data, tools. We'll be doing a lot of planning for this upcoming year. And then also, that evening, we are going to be doing dinner. And so I would like to also invite you to that dinner.
Where and when?
So that, ma'am,
The FPB as well.
The 24th, it looks like Forey's, but I'm not 100% yet on that. And that might also be a retirement get together for Ron Bressett as well. He doesn't know that, so.
Okay, and you're gonna,
He
we're
doesn't
gonna
know.
have another meeting on the day before that.
Yes, we have we have a
So you
trim
know
meeting.
exactly where it's gonna be is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll send all that out, yeah. There's a trim meeting at 4:30 on the 23rd.
That's our regular board meeting.
That's our board
Yes.
meeting.
As long as-
Also. I'm sorry. August the 3rd, we have our back to school teachers, and for the first time in ever, all schools will be here, including Hayetta, Moorhaven High School, Moorhaven Elementary, and Westglade. So all schools in the entire district will be here and we'll be celebrating together. So I would appreciate if you all could plan on being there. And I will be sending you emails on dates and times. So,
This
yeah.
is Roberta Baker.
Yeah.
Medicaid magician here, I promise you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So plan on spending some time, I might ask for you to, say something, or details will be in the email. We have a school board meeting on December 3rd also, ma'am?
December?
You said,
I'm sorry, August 3rd, I wrote December in my calendar for something else, but, August 3rd at 5:01 will be
The trim.
no,
yeah,
She told us.
5:01's a trim, and then at 5:30 will be the regular meeting.
We don't, Madam Chair,
Yes.
we don't really have to do it that way. As long as the trim bills meeting starts at 5:01, then you can just say, the regular meeting will be
Yeah.
soon thereafter as it can be held.
that ain't on me.
Yeah, no, there's a misconception out there.
Oh, yeah, that you have to start and stop. You don't have to start and stop.
No, the key thing is the trim meeting's gotta start at 5:01 or later. And then the rest of whatever festivities you have, just follow on with that. So don't schedule anything for 5:30, that's not how.
Immediately following.
Yeah, immediately follow, right, we don't wanna sit and stare at each other for 10 minutes, that's a long 10 minutes.
But we have a board meeting on the 6th at 9:00 in the morning, which
No.
is good. Are we canceling that?
August 6th
August
has already
6th.
been canceled.
Canceled. We have that night, our open houses at, Moorhaven Elementary is from 5 to 7, and Moorhaven High School is from 6 to 8, and I believe Westglade is also that day, I'm not sure.
Is that August 6th?
August 6th, yes ma'am. And once again, this will all come out in email to you, but I just want to put it out there. Our first day of school for the 26-27 school year is going to be August the 10th. So children will be out and about, and so we'll be doing some, back to school campaigns, getting kids ready, make sure they're setting their agenda, so that sort of thing. And then August, that's it, that's all I've got for August, I've got lots more the rest of the time. The only other thing that I wanna add when I'm done as pro-woman, is that,
Right.
well, if I don't communicate, I'm not communicating enough, and if I do, I'm over communicating. July 14th, I just need to ask for your prayers and thoughts on that day, good thoughts for me, for a professional matter, that I'll discuss at the next board meeting, but it's July 14th, just keep me in your prayers, please.
Is that the big day? Yes, okay.
Anyway, that's all I have, Ms. Pro-Wine.
Good job, Ms. Pro.
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned at 11 a.m.
Hallelujah.
We'll see